what's actually happening with us, and I'll just explain it to you, what's actually going on with us emotionally. And this is something that's really important to understand for all of your interactions with every single person on this planet, right? Here's you, and I'll draw you as a person rather than a soul. And I'll say that your emotions should just pass through you like that. So this is how your emotions should be. So when you feel a feeling of love, it should pass through you, you act upon that love. When you feel anger, it should pass through you, and you won't act on it, but you'll own it. You know, you'll own it, feel it, and then feel what's underneath it. What's underneath anger generally?
Wouldn't you want to hang on to the feeling of love?
Well, the problem with hanging on to any feeling is that then you block up all the other feelings from flowing. In the end, what will happen is the emotion of love flowing from God will just continually flow through you, continually flow through you. You don't have to hang on at all because God's got an unlimited supply, right? Yeah, so why would you want to hang on to that?
It's not going to dry up.
Yeah, it's not going to dry up. No. So we've got this emotion flowing through us, right? Now, the instant I block it, what happens is that emotion now flies out everywhere. Right? Every single living thing in my environment and every single non-living thing in my environment, every single what we call animate and inanimate objects in my environment is now affected by that emotion. Who of you have read Anastasia stuff? Any of you? Oh, some of you have. Remember there was a time with Anastasia in I think it was book 3 or something like that, where she went through this terrible emotion. She was being attacked by the men who wanted to come and get her and take her away. And she got really angry and upset. You remember that? And all of a sudden, everything started dying around her. And then this golden bull came to her to convince her not to do that anymore, right? And all of a sudden, things stopped dying. But everything started dying around her. And this is what's actually happening to our soul when we refuse to deal with our emotions. Everything starts dying around us. Everything is affected negatively around us. So every time you're frustrated and angry, you are affecting not only yourself, but absolutely every living and non-living thing around you in a negative way. Now, if you think about the power of that, that'll help you start dealing with things in a different way. You see, what do we normally do? We get angry and upset, then we say, I've got to take action. Don't we? So we go do some affirmative action, whatever it is about the thing. But what needs to be dealt with is our emotion. It's our emotion that needs to be dealt with.
Well, that's the action.
That is the real action. The real action is I'm not letting this emotion, whatever it is. So let's say, I'm a bit angry about the road coming in. Right? That's not an angry thing for us here, right?
No.
It's not angry about
going to
it.
happen, so we don't have to do it.
But it's an issue for me. Let's say it's an issue. Why is it an issue? You'll find it's an issue for lots of reasons, not just the road. It's about my privacy, about my future, about all of these things being taken away from me, being manipulated by other people who don't live here, and all of those different things are all childhood emotions. If I deal with all of those emotions, what will happen is the whole situation will just go away without me having to act. Do you follow me? If you tried as an experiment, all of you tried as an experiment just dealing with your emotions about the road, I guarantee you within a month the whole thing will be resolved.
How do you deal with it?
You have to actually access the causal emotion from your childhood that causes you to be so upset about the particular issue.
And how do you dig it out?
Well, it's already been digged out. The whole issue is exposing it within you, isn't it?
But how do you know the actual cause?
Well, let's illustrate, shall we, with that particular issue.
Yeah.
Right? What do you feel is going to happen? Let's say I was this developer come along, I want to put a road over the mountain, straight into here, double lane highway. How do you feel?
Right. Right. Excellent.
With trucks?
Loss of control. What are some of the emotions that you feel negative that I'm talking about? Loss of control. Why loss of control?
I'm powerless.
I'm powerless to stop this. Right? That's a childhood emotion. If you think back to your childhood, how many times were you powerless to actually stop things happening to you that you felt were quite damaging? See, that's a childhood emotion. It's easily accessed. The emotion is powerlessness, and I can just put my imagination back into this place where I'm just thinking about some childhood events. And, you know, if you do that, these emotions will come up, and if you let yourself feel them, the powerless feeling will just disappear. Yeah?
Are you saying here that we should go back to our childhood emotions? If you
I'm saying that every one of us have unexperienced childhood emotions that we have frozen in time inside of us because we weren't allowed to express them at the time we had them. You think, how many of you were allowed to cry completely right the way through if you were crying? How many of you were told, if you cry anymore, I'm going to give you something to cry about? How many of you were told that? A fair few of you, right? Don't you think that shut down the crying? Of course it did. The threat of punishment and further pain is going to shut down the crying, right? Now that's a childhood frozen emotion in time now. Every single time I wanted to cry, I had to have passed through this intellectual filter of what? Oh, I'm going to get punished if I cry too much. So I only cry a little. Enough that I can get away with, but not too much. But the problem is that there might have been an event that occurred, like I might have broken my leg, and I needed to cry for an hour. But I was only allowed to cry for 5 minutes. So what's happening with the energy of the other 55 minutes?
Suppressed.
It's all suppressed. It's all in here. It's all inside of your soul, waiting to come out.
Can't we circumvent all that without, trying to find out what it was, realising it, releasing it? Can't we just flush it through with the divine love?
You can, and we will describe some of those processes in a minute. Yeah, you certainly can. There's some faster ways of dealing with some of these emotions, certainly. But it requires three basic.
Instead of digging up the dirt, go for the light.
You will have to dig up the dirt. But it will be not an effort to dig it up. It will just be coming to your left, right and centre.
But how about if they're suppressed memories?
Sorry?
If they're suppressed memories.
Everything that you have suppressed is based around a fear that is under the control of your free will. So all we need to do is address my fears and automatically the suppressed memories will reappear.
Sounds
the reason
painful.
for it to be suppressed though, isn't it?
Somebody said it sounds painful. Yes, this process is going to be painful. But you know what, at the moment, you are creating far more pain by holding on to it.
Sure.
Because you're killing your own body and you're killing your environment and all the people in it through holding on to that emotion.
So if you accept your pain, it's good for you, really.
If you do that and allow it to pass through you, you're actually not only good for you,
Everyone.
it's good for every single person around you as well.
Suffering's good for you.
Yeah, it's not the suffering that's good for you. It's a choice to allow the pain you've already suffered.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. So that's a really important thing to understand.
You just have to be brave.
Courage.
Yeah.
You'll need courage. Definitely. Yes, courage.
And don't cry.
Sorry?
And don't cry.
No, you need to cry. You will cry. Guaranteed.